Get ready to finally see some more of Anderson's mind-blowingly beautiful scenes because we now have a release date for Asteroid City. The movie is one of the director's most anticipated works, starring Margot Robbie and Tom Hanks, both of whom are working with the genius filmmaker for the first time. Are you curious to know what the excitement is about? Let's dive right into what we know so far. First off, how long do we still have to wait? Now, don't get your hopes that high. We indeed know when it's coming out, but there's still almost half a year left until then. Focus Features has officially set the release for the 16th of June 2023. These will be the very first set of limited shows, after which the film will be released worldwide on the 23rd of June. As always, Universal Pictures will be handling everything that has to do with distribution, which is all the technical stuff. We'll simply sit and wait until the movie is brought to a nearby theater, and then we'll watch it as soon as possible, especially because the release date was announced almost a year after the filming was all done. Yeah, it's been a pretty long wait. What's more is that Tilda Swinton, Adrian Brody, and Edward Norton have all returned to work with Wes, which is one of the most exciting things about seeing a movie by the filmmaker once again. He has his OG squad of actors, which has pretty much become his trademark. Not just that, but they're amazing at bringing his ideas to life, especially with the way Adrian's expressions move the game to a higher level almost instantly.
Empowering, I could captivate adults, and what I've realized in thinking back about after, many years of loving, I was a professional magician before I was...
Coming up, the release date may cause some trouble. Everything else is right where it should be, and we can never doubt the director's ability to plan stuff out, but the film has release dates that are a great cause for alarm. It comes out on the same day as Warner Brothers' next superhero film, The Flash. Not just that, but a week later, the picture will compete with Disney's Indiana Jones as well as The Dial of Destiny. Seeing all these spectacular movies side by side, all we can think about is what people would mostly focus on. It's a significant challenge for Anderson and the production house because both of its rivals are eagerly awaited by the audience, with The Flash being a superhero movie that people have been working on for years. On the other hand, Indiana Jones and The Dial of Destiny are simply riding the reputation of the Harrison Ford-led franchise, which means that they already have a leg up on Wes's movie. We know that the director is revered by filmgoers, and as terrific as his masterfully directed films are, competing with these two movies at the box office is a highly ambitious target to reach. But we also think that the filmmaker is unlikely to be overly concerned with financial success, and given that the reported cost for the movie is only $25 million, it doesn't even need to be a hit to bring back whatever they spent on it. With his extensive filmography, the film will likely be a decent success among its competition. Finally, what do we know about the movie itself? According to Focus Features' official synopsis, the film will be a lyrical reflection on the essence of life, and we aren't surprised at all. Having seen Wes's work, most of it seems to be subtly mocking something from the existing world, even if his themes seem unrealistic sometimes.
This is, her character is called Madame D. She's played by Tilda Swinton, but 85 years old. In the story, she dies.
This time, the movie will tell the story of a fictitious 1950s American desert town and its young stargazer convention. The event will gather students and parents from all over the country for academic competition, drama, rest and recreation, comedy, romance, and other activities. As certain events start unfolding all over the world, chaos ensues, and this is where we'll probably get to see the way the director creates a sense of organized disorientation in his movies. Only the geeks will know what we're talking about. He wrote the film with Roman Coppola, and it took a pretty long time to bring it onto the screen. With his works, we understand why, because so much planning goes into it. His set designs are always extraordinary, and the way he works with images always has such an artful mix of carelessness and proximity.
And his cousin, Roman Coppola, they're both my very good friends, and I wanted to see what would happen if the three of our points of view were combined and what we could come up with. So we all went to India together, and we
It's all pretty wild. The more you look at a scene from his movies, the more details and depth you'll see, and we're expecting that sort of montage in this one as well. We've already known that Hanks and Robbie will be debuting in this Anderson movie, but we'll also be seeing some of our favorite familiar faces like Willem Dafoe, Jason Schwartzman, and Jeffrey Wright. Now, moving on to Bill Murray dropping out of the film. First off, why did he just disappear from the cast? Murray's strange absence from the movie's cast has left us all pretty curious. Obviously, that stuff could never go unnoticed. The company only signed on the project about a week ago, which is why all of this is very new, but the questions keep piling up. It's especially suspicious because the actor had been a regular in Anderson's films like The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou and The Royal Tenenbaums, and was also one of the very first people to be signed on to the Spain-shot film, which began filming last September. According to a source close to the production, the actor contracted COVID-19 just before the film began shooting last September, which ultimately forced the production to cast someone else for his role. It was also clarified that before he dropped out of the the project. He hadn't really shot any scenes yet, which at least reassured us that none of his work was being lost. In place of the brilliant actor, Steve Carell played the role, and he probably did a splendid job at it. But we're still left with a lot of questions. Why was this so sudden? And why weren't there any proper announcements involved to clarify the star's departure from the film? It simply doesn't make sense, considering how long he has been associated with the director's films. In the end, are they telling the truth? Let's go a bit deeper into this. Coming up, we might be catching some lies. Does it compute if you look at the timing closely? We mean, he was live-streamed from the set during the NY Film Festival in October 2021 with Anderson, Brody, and all the others. Not only that, but he disclosed the film's title in the middle of a BFI discussion in November. Of course, people are now wondering what exactly went wrong because things had been going so smoothly. What's more is that an article from a year ago in which Murray admitted to nearly dying from coronavirus in Ireland has been revived. But there's one very important thing to note. The shoot happened in Spain, not Ireland, which is why it simply doesn't add up. Not to mention what a fan had to say. To make it even more intense, a fan, Danny Martinez, took to Twitter and shared a photo of the actor in Spain, present on the set of this exact movie. It just keeps getting crazier. In the caption, she clarified that whatever they're telling the people about him not shooting anything for the film seems false. In fact, the filming was being done in her city, Madrid, and she specifically got a poster signed by the actor on set. Now, that is the kind of proof we simply can't ignore. But we also can't ignore all the other events that had been going on alongside the film shooting, because the actor was involved in a controversy with another woman just 5 months after the shoot was done. What we now want to know is, when did they cast Steve? And when did they take the time out to reshoot all the scenes with Murray in it? And in the end, was this all about the controversy? Finally, he may have been too problematic to stay on board. The guy was reportedly sidelined when it was revealed that Searchlight Pictures paused working on Aziz Ansari's Being Mortal in April after a claim of improper conduct was lodged against him. Even though sources had been quick to explain that Murray's absence has nothing to do with these allegations, we highly doubt it. He was eager to present his version of the events back in April, after everything went down, as he told CNBC that he disagreed with a woman he was working with, something to do with the clashing of opinions. He continued by saying that he did something he thought would be funny, but it wasn't perceived that way.
Take on, because he grew up as a child of the Ghostbusters, sort of, in a way. He had something he thought would work as a good story, and we all agreed that he got it. Yeah.
Do you remember him as a kid on set?
He was a pain in the ass.
Eventually, since the movie studio didn't want to jeopardize the entire project, they stopped and decided to take a break from production to check everything out and examine the situation. Nobody got to know exactly what the complaint was about, so this is all we know. But considering that one of his pretty major projects halted because of the accusations, it's not entirely unbelievable that Wes couldn't keep him in the film anymore. Regardless, his absence will leave the film incomplete, but we're still hoping that it turns out to be spectacular. And that's a wrap, folks. What makes you the most excited about the new Wes Anderson movie? Tell us in the comments below. And as always, make sure to click that like button and subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on more updates about your favorite movies and shows. See you in the next video.